Hello and welcome. You're watching Play Circuit, ANR Play Circuit Finals from Stockholm, Sweden. My name is Victor Rd1, and with me I have... So trying to keep it simple for all the viewers. So we're coming in a little bit late into the... I think this is the second round. It seems to me that Alex has taken here 2 rounds, maybe, and I think Asger is in his second round as well, or something like that. Now, this would be the first round of Swiss out of 4.
4 rounds of Swiss to proper count with 4 players. And this is the first round. We have Alex on the right, NAH, and Asger on the left.
Asger comes from Copenhagen, but he qualified in Malmö earlier this year for this tournament, whereas Alex comes out of Exeter, UK, and he qualified himself originally in Kuopio, Finland, but then he actually placed even better in Karlshamn. So he's very qualified. It seems to me that Alex is the more seasoned player out of the two. He's been playing for a couple of years. I'm not myself familiar with all the players tonight, seeing how I'm mostly familiar with the Swedish meta, but we have a lot of international guests here playing as well, so I'm really eager to see what they bring.
Yeah, the game we're looking at seems to be quite explosive.
Yeah.
Stealing a beal from R&D. No rest.
Click 3 around HQ again.
Install and click repeat.
And then I'll run click 4 again on HQ.
That was the second.
Alright, then I have to start more, so I'll get rid of
So we have not been able to get any deck lists from the players, so we can't really know too much about the decks. We hope to be bringing you some more quality commentary as soon as we get everything set up, and here we get some deck lists. So we're watching a Wizard against NEH matchup, which is... It's been prevalent for a while now. It's a good matchup from both sides. I'd say it's almost a coin toss if you just look at what these decks typically do. We have some drip economy going for Wizard already out. It's dripped twice at this point, but Wizard also has his recurring trash credits, which is such a great thing against NEH's possible assets they spam.
We're going to see some more asset spam, I think, out of Alex and NEH.
Surely. It's what NEH does after all. So we have a fast early game here, of course, where both players are really vying for tempo into it. They're probably... I'd say NEH is typically the faster deck out of the two.
Yep.
Whereas Wizard, unlike many of his NAC brethrens, doesn't usually run out of steam that fast. He can often go the long game.
Yeah, he can sustain. And seeing as Asger already has his draw engine online, I think he's going to be going pretty fast.
He can probably catch up. And he is ahead on points already. So.
Yeah. And we're seeing some interesting tech out of Alex right now. Some new cards. He's using the Mumbai City Hall to click to install Alliance assets. So he installed it, and he's clicked twice for Jeeves and the Mumbai Temple. And Jeeves is an interesting choice here because with it you can install and advance Or you get an extra click if you do the same thing 3 times. So you can actually install. You can't install an advanced 3
No.
times, but you could.
You could install an APD blank and then advance it 4 times in your next turn.
Exactly.
So
And you can also do operation shenanigans if you're using. Let's see. He is using. He's got 3 shipmen of Sansan in the deck. So what he can do is basically play shipment of Sansan, another operation, and then have an extra click. Which means he could shipment of Sansan once, play an operation, and then advance the 3rd time.
Yeah, and like many other NEH decks, he switched the NHPD for the Exploder Pelosa, obviously earlier this year when the NHPD became a little bit more expensive to play in terms of influence. But it's the Exploder is very much, it does the same thing for the deck. Of course, it doesn't protect itself, but
it's a bigger swing in credits, but it doesn't protect itself. So.
Exactly. So it's kind of the same idea, especially for a deck that is probably running some kill effects maybe, or at least threatening to have them.
Yeah. I think Asger's pretty safe from the kill right now, and I think he knows it because the influence has been spent on Jeeves. There's 1 Jeeves in the archives, and there's 1 on the table, and those are pretty expensive in influence.
Yeah, and if Asger is paying attention, he should be able to count the influence and start realizing that kill is probably not a threat. Also, we see him, he doesn't have any breakers out yet, but he has started to assemble some kind of threat with the Mimic out already.
The medium?
Sorry, the medium, obviously the medium.
Yeah, as soon as he gets a breaker out, he can start digging. Faust isn't great against wraparound, but I'm guessing we're going to see a David here soon.
Or possibly a Corroder, of course.
Yeah, could be. So I'll be very interested in seeing what Jeeves does for Alex here.
Yeah, this is a fairly new card. Legal, just barely legal.
Yeah, it is from Democracy and Dogma, I think.
Yeah.
So it's been legal for a while, but that pack has been extremely difficult to find here in Sweden, so I haven't seen a lot of play with it.
No, me neither. So I'm also quite eager to see what kind of use it will be to him.
Looking at Asger's list, it's looking like a pretty standard double fork list with the cutleries, the Faust, turntable, but he is using some new cards. For example, he's using Cellset Slums, which I'm really interested to see if it has any effect on this matchup. Yeah, it's a great card against IG, but I'm not sure how many IG we're going to see today.
IG is a really strong deck, obviously, if you play on Octagon or where you have no time limit. But in a tournament setting, it is quite exhausting to play it. You have to keep your tongue-in-cheek all the time, and it does take a lot of time. Even though it has become faster, it has. It's still considerably slower than the more established tournament decks.
We see here Alex icing up R&D a little bit better. He does not want to get that medium run going. No,
and you can't rely on a wraparound alone. It's fine as long as there's no corroder or anything proper. But a corroder isn't that many credits, and Asger is doing quite well economically.
Yeah,
he's got that.
There it is. So
exactly.
It was a good
There's
choice,
David.
I think.
Yeah, they will do him some good.
And he's running. I think he's running R&D. Nope, HQ.
No rest.
Doesn't seem like it. I can't see Alex credits. Oh, there.
Alex has a die there. He's at 5 credits, so he's a bit low. Typically, you don't expect any heavy HQ threats from Dumbledore lists. They're not usually running.
There's usually no multi-access HQ, but they can destroy the ice, and that can be problematic. Also, I don't think Asger actually expected a rest there. On 5 credits, even if they res, it's not going to be a danger size.
No, nothing too
Archangel
tricky.
would be annoying, but it's
Mhm.
only a David credit,
Exactly.
David token.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad.
What's good for Alex in this spot is that DBS keeps on ticking. He's been filtering R&D all game long.
Hmm.
Oh, and this is also quite good for him.
Yeah, and it's quite expected.
Architect
It-
is
Architect, it
on the
is-
MVL list, so it's not as common as it used to be.
But with this many Onyx in the meta still, and especially the really fast max decks,
Yeah.
a piece of ice that can't be destroyed is quite nice to
It's
have.
very good, and it's
and-
so
and-
annoying to deal with.
Hmm. So
It's 3 cards with Faust, 2 credits with Mimic is the best you'll do.
yeah, so a lot of people still include at least one or two of the architects in the decks just
Yeah.
for this kind of protection, especially on R&D where you can really make sure that they can't access anything proper.
Exactly, and with the NBN you get the draw as well, so
Mm.
you can really manipulate the access.
Yeah, it's such a strong card, especially on R&D.
So let's see what he gets here. He installed the card from R&D,
Hmm.
and then Jeeves is coming back.
Yeah,
Did he draw a card? I didn't see.
I think he did. I'm not sure.
Breaking David, seeing 1 card, and it's not going to be an agenda.
No,
Would surprise me.
that would have been interesting.
So
All right,
it's
so he
gonna-
runs the installed card, which was a
Okay.
Jackson.
And trashing for wizard credits is,
Mhm.
of course, why not?
Exactly.
Tossing the levy there.
Hmm. So either he feels that in this matchup Levy won't really come into play, which it usually doesn't, or he's going to rely on same old things.
Yeah, he
for
does
it.
run
It-
one same old thing, which
Mm.
is usually what you do when you run levy.
Mm.
You run one of each.
Mm.
Mostly because you don't want to have levy in hand and
No.
just taking up that,
That
spot,
spot,
in your
no.
hand.
And you can keep the same old thing on the table as long as you're not tagged. It's
Yep.
pretty safe.
I do see Asger has Employee Strike in hand, but he hasn't played it, so he's letting Alex draw
Yep.
with his ID ability, which is interesting. Oh, and also see the Mimic there, so R&D pressure is going to get real.
Yep. Because Mimic will just run straight through that architect.
Yep,
Data Sucker to boot.
running HQ again,
Mhm.
3rd click, no 2nd click.
Yep.
No,
No
res.
res, obviously.
Not even a pop-up.
Alex is down to 2 credits, and since he didn't res it earlier, we can expect it wasn't a pop-up.
Yeah. Oh, that's also a new card. That is something that you have to trash.
Yeah.
It's such a strong card. Also from Democracy in Dogma, it's a Sensi Actors Union,
Yep.
which allows you to draw 3 cards at the start of your turn. That's before the mandatory draw. And then remove 1 card from HQ down to the bottom of R&D. Sansan, which obviously stays.
Hmm.
Alex is on 2 credits, so Sansan isn't really a threat at the moment.
Not at all. Still, if you access it on the run,
He's gonna have to remember it, because
Yeah.
when Alex gets to the credits he needs, that
it
Sansan
has to be
go.
removed. And also for the tempo, at this point, Asger is a bit low on credits, but with the Dumbledore credits, you could just trash it because you want to maintain the
Yeah.
tempo, the click tempo.
But he did use 2 wizard credits already
Oh,
on,
yeah.
on the Sensi.
Sorry, yeah, I missed that.
So, but I'm guessing he'll be back there
Mhm.
before anything happens.
Indeed.
And we saw a Jackson shuffle here.
Hmm.
He shuffled back, and the second Jackson, an Indian, no, Mamba City Hall,
Yeah.
and a 3rd card, which I think was hidden.
I didn't really pay attention, I'm afraid. I was looking at the credits.
So the game has stalled a bit.
Mhm.
Still only 2-0 in points.
Yeah, and
But
he's
it's
not really getting anything going on R&D yet. And it seems that even though he's got DBS out, he's not really
Oh.
drawing those. And those he needs economy at this point.
Yeah, right now
Alex is
I'm guessing he's shuffling agendas back into R&D at the
Definitely.
bottom, because he does not want them in hand right now.
yeah,
Let's see
definitely.
here. Jeeves is rest, so he will be having 4 clicks this turn.
Mhm. I wonder what he wants
No,
to
didn't
use them
happen.
for.
He just rested?
He's at 4 credits.
Oh, he rested to be able to take 4 credits. That's
Yeah,
what he
so
did.
that
Yeah,
makes sense.
He rested and clicked for
It-
credits.
he had 2 credits, used them to reset, and then he clicked
Yep.
up to 4, which is sensible when you're this low on credits.
Yeah, why not? And
Why
there's
not?
the Archangel. So he's going to be
Mhm.
taxing those David tokens.
Yeah, and why not? When he had the credits, if he's indeed keeping anything worth protecting in hand, I'd definitely do that. Well,
Ooh, that's a subliminal messaging.
yeah, that will come in handy at this point, I
Alex
think.
deck is interesting. It's playing a lot of cards that I don't usually see in NAH.
No, and cards that you would normally find in other decks, really.
Yeah, and subliminal messaging is interesting because NAH is so easy to run against.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting choice. I mean, you're not going to be able to proc that very often, I think.
Probably not. And no, he's not running unusually a lot of ice here. He's not. This is
He has the tall booth. He has 2 itches.
Yeah,
which
nothing-
is the big ones.
nothing really out of the ordinary. Only 1 Archangel.
Now
So I
we
guess it's
see
fine.
Asger running at the DBS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No.
and it's another Sandstone underneath.
Yeah,
So he leaves the Sandstone, trashes the DBS.
makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
Alex is at no credits at all right now.
Yeah, forcing him to keep the agendas in hand
Mhm.
is a good move.
Indeed.
And there we see the SMO thing, so he will be able to levy.
If it really comes to that, because it doesn't necessarily have to go
No,
that long.
Of course not.
He's got parasites for days in hand.
He did toss the employee strike, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like NEH is a good target for that
It-
current.
He would be, but well,
NEH, of course, is one of the corps that can easily get rid of currents with the 2-1s, but
yeah, still, just hampering that draw a bit would probably make sense.
Yeah.
It's 2 to play, I think, and he's a bit lower in credits,
yeah.
so that
That could
is
be it.
obviously a factor.
But he does have 8 credits on Liberated, so he's not that poor.
Exactly, he can swing back quite fast.
But I'm guessing he's looking for some sort of answer to that wraparound.
Yeah,
He is, let's see,
he's not running Corroder, I think. Oh, there we have the
no Corroder,
no Corroder. So
2 Davids.
David is his only actual
which
solution.
could get problematic, but
Well, yeah,
now we see him taking some credits from the Liberated,
running the
running the Jeeves,
Jeeves to get rid of that.
paying 1, no, paying 2, it's 5 to trash the Jeeves.
Yeah. So
Still very interested to see what the Jeeves shenanigans is with this deck.
hmm yeah, there has to be some sort of idea behind playing Jeeves,
Yeah.
and it can't be take 4 credits. So-
4 clicks as a corp is extremely powerful, but you have to play them in the right order to get the proc of it.
Of course. I could see him playing
Really?
it just because he wants to be able to score the Explodopaloosa more easily, but it seems
No, I don't think you would run that for
it
that
seems
reason.
like a lot of card slot for a very small effect.
Yeah, it also aids in the asset spam because you
Of course.
could install 4
Mm-hmm.
or click the City Hall 4 times,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure that's the effect that you want.
No, it seems a bit weird to me as well. He is running a lot of assets, obviously.
Yep.
Uh,
One notable asset that's missing from his deck is Turtlebacks,
Mhm.
which is the choice that I've seen more often in this kind of deck.
Yeah.
With the team sponsorship, Turtlebacks, and the Mumbo Temple.
which it makes a lot of sense. You can rest things easily, and then you get credits for installing things.
Yeah.
And that would combo quite well with Jeeves.
It would, but
uh,
you don't have the influence to play them all, I
No.
think. So Alex obviously made the choice to play Jeeves for a reason. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the reason is.
Like we said, Alex is a fairly seasoned player. He's been playing for a number of years, and he has some credits to his name. He's won 2 store championships. No, sorry. He's placed well in 2 store championships this year. He came
top
in
4.
second in Swansea and at 4th place in Exeter. And like we said, he won the Karlshamn NRC PC qualifier. That's a mouthful.
It is, yeah.
And that's not even the full name, because it is NACHANR PC
Yep.
Nordics. Well, we did pick a name with a lot of syllables. Oh, sorry, letters, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an acronym to die for.
Well, yeah.
Now you see the turntable down. Ooh, and
This,
it picks
yeah.
up the Astro.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
that's exactly what the turntable is there for. He got it at the right moment, and he was able to do exactly what he wanted with it. Oh no, sorry.
No, he
that
just
wasn't.
picked it up
yeah,
from the
he
table.
just
Yeah,
picked it up from the table.
Alex tried to sneak it out.
Ah, right. Yeah, I was looking at the stats here, not paying attention to the game.
And I'm thinking that that's a desperate move from Alex. He does have 2 Sansans on the table, but even so, he tried to sneak out the Astro.
Yeah, and
when he could just be saving up credits.
exactly, and he didn't even have the credits to
Score it, no.
score it. So he was obviously planning to keep it on the table for a while. Now, Asger has not been checking all remotes, at least not immediately.
Not immediately, no.
So
He knows everything that's on the table right now.
yeah,
Except for maybe the card that's above the Sansan.
not
in the
sure if
first
he checked
remote.
that. Isn't that the Sansan?
It is a Sansan beneath,
Oh.
but it's also another card.
Mhm.
And then the naked remote on
Is
the
a
far,
Sansan as
that's
well.
A Sansan. So there's
Yeah.
2 Sansans on the table.
Yeah. All right. So Asger is trying to get rid of the Archangel.
I see. He is parasiting the Archangel.
Mm-hmm.
Not using the old put the parasite on the card trick.
No,
He's using tokens.
Yeah, and it makes sense because you often forget that mem.
Yeah, it's super
Uh,
easy to forget.
So you get into illegal board states quite easily when you have the parasites out.
Yep.
So this is I've seen a couple of players do this, and it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it's smart.
Mm.
It's really smart.
And if you have good tokens to use, why not?
Yeah. Even though he has 5 mem right now, it's always a good idea to keep
Yeah,
that in check.
yeah. Just when you are contemplating your moves and you're trying to plan out, and especially in later rounds when you're more mushy in the head,
Yep.
you can easily make mistakes just because of this, and it's unnecessary.
So there's an upgrade on R&D right now,
Mhm.
and Alex is only running 3 upgrades, and it's all Virus Suite.
Yeah,
So there will be some purging.
and with the mimic out and medium out, that's not a bad idea.
No, not at all. It's gonna save him some time.
And if he likes, he can save the Archangel with it as well.
Yep.
Not sure that he needs to, but he could.
He could, but I'm guessing we're just gonna see the purge on access from that CVS. Because there's no way Asger doesn't access it.
Of course.
And there's a 3rd Sansan.
Yep.
So he's got Sansans for days. Just needs the credits now.
Exactly, and obviously Asger isn't considering them a threat at all because of Alex's low credit count.
No. But he's getting up there. I mean, 3 credits, he only has to click for credits 2 turns.
Exactly,
If
and
worst comes to worst.
I think it's a bit ballsy of Asger leaving all 3 on the table, because it's going to take him 3 clicks to rid himself of all 3 of them. If Alex was to come into credits, and NBN can do that.
Yep.
He is taking a risk here.
So what happened here was knifed on the remote,
Yep.
breaking with the David that I think he clone chipped in.
Yep. That's exactly what he did. And then
He stole the breaking news of the Sansa.
yeah.
Interesting to see that breaking news not being scored the turn before.
Yeah, it was just sitting there. And he doesn't have any kill, so there's no reason to leave it.
Well, of course he can score it and then trash the wild side or whatever,
Yeah,
which is an
of
okay
course.
play.
It would be
But
fine.
I'm not sure he wants to spend the credits to start trashing assets or resources.
Well, yeah, and at this point, Asger is fairly well set up already. So the wild side isn't as
No, it
pivotal.
doesn't even have Faust on the table, so the wild
Exactly.
side right now is just...
It's the wild side isn't that pivotal.
Oh, there is. I
Okay.
thought he would... He did use that clone chip earlier for the David.
Exactly. So he forgot to remove it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Asger is at 5 points right now. With a
He
little
is.
luck, he
Oh.
only needs one more agenda. We are going to get better at this, I think, updating the points on the stream. But it is 5-0 right now. That's looking... Oh, sorry. Well, we're having some technical difficulties. The points in our overlay doesn't seem to update as they should. I'm sure we'll have that figured out shortly. And there we see the CVS on access. And of course he trashes it. We did see some cards before, no agendas. And now we're seeing quite the credit swing here. Asger is actually on 1 credit right now, whereas Alex is on 7. And Alex's board is starting to look horrible.
Oh, well, we'll have to keep you updated manually on the points because it doesn't seem to update for you. We'll try to get that fixed and all other technical difficulties for the next round.
Yep.
But as you can see clearly in the corner of the table, it's there's stuff, agendas just laying out there so you can see them clearly.
There we go.
All right, now we've got the agendas correctly scored here. So we have a fair amount of upside down cards on the table.
Yep. Still 3 cents on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And he is on 8 credits now, which is what you need to score of a Sansan.
The thing is with NBH and NBN and NEH especially, they can score out so quickly.
Yep.
If they get things online and they have the credits,
There we go. He
Here
used
we
all his
go.
credits, but the
And
train is rolling.
the Astro is up and there's a live Sansan that is unprotected. So it will be trashed, obviously.
Yeah.
But Asger is not very rich either. So
No,
he'll
not at
spend
all.
basically all his credits, even with the recurring credits, to
Yep.
get there. And he has no more economy on the table to get him back up afterwards. And we've seen one Sure Gamble, I think, only.
Yep.
Um,
But on the other hand, Alex is also down to 0 now, so he
Yeah,
won't be scoring next turn, probably.
no, he'll be okay.
Finally, the
Probably.
Faust hits the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the credits. So it's 0 and 0 in credits right now.
Mm-hmm.
And 5-2
Yep.
in points. Let's see what he thinks right now. He's got some career fairs in hand, but no economy assets. So he tosses those. Yep. And that was the game.
Yeah,
Out of HQ.
fairly quick.
So yeah, that early pressure that Asger was able to put on Alex really paid off. Ending the game with 0 credits on both sides.
They were both running quite low most of the game, so when that happens,
Those recurring credits on Wizard is so useful against the asset spam.
so we will see them switch decks now.
Yep.
Alex is going to play a wizard,
So it's Wizard again.
whereas Asger is playing
IG.
IG, which might be a slow,
We'll see.
grueling
This is
game.
the deck that everyone loves to hate.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, the reason people don't like it mostly is because it's quite inactive and interactive.
It does feel that way. It's one way to play, I think, but it does feel, it can feel very boring or hopeless even when you're playing the runner against this deck.
Well, and it's not trying to score. It's not actively
No.
doing a lot of things at
Not
all.
at
it,
all.
It is just, it's playing patience a lot. It's
Yeah.
just putting out their own things, taking its time and waiting for the runner to make the mistakes. And it's really the runner's game to lose.
It is. But what IG does so well is making it financially unreasonable to trash their assets. And I think Alex is going to have a hard time with this, even with these recurring credits. We saw Asker's Wizard deck had some anti-IG tech in it with the employee strikes and the cell set slums. Alex is not running either of those cards.
No.
So he's just going to be relying on his recurring credits and playing a more standard Wizard deck.
Yep.
Also with the cutleries and everything, standard double fork.
Yeah. Of course, being able to trash a little bit more easily is a good thing against IG, but the cost of trashing, especially when you have to pay in cards as well, after a while,
Yeah.
you just can't keep up and trash everything like this. It's just not possible. So you have to pick and choose, and then you can't install
No, you
anything.
have to pick and choose, and you have to choose the right things. Because,
Exactly.
And what do you prioritize?
And install the bare minimum of cards, economy a little bit, and
Yeah. Save your
um,
cards for when you're gonna take
for
damage.
the net damage. Yeah, you
And
don't
this-
need much of a breaker rig at all.
This is a strategy that I think actually is good against
Mhm.
IG, which is just
Multi-access. Yeah,
Of course,
But
you're
you
gonna
have to
run
have-
into some snares, but
and you're taking a chance
Really?
because you could end up triggering your own death.
you could.
So
But
I-
winning
I-
fast against this deck
it's important.
is important.
Yeah.
So we run into a shock there, lost his
Mhm.
mimic, which is gonna be harsh.
Well, depends. Haven't taken that closer look at what kind of ice is running.
But he is running Komainus, and that is
Yeah.
problematic.
That is definitely problematic. There's usually very little ice in these decks. I've seen people just basically run Mother Goddess.
Yeah.
And
There are iceless versions of this deck, which can be really annoying.
mhm.
But I think the most standard one is running
Komainu,
Komainus and Hives.
Yeah,
And Hive is hell of a good of an ice when
Mhm.
you're not scoring any agendas.
yeah,
So he's willingly running into this shock once again,
yeah.
losing his wild side, but seeing 2 more cards.
That was a really expensive card to lose, I'd say.
He's trashing the shock at least.
Hmm.
And will he see an agenda? Nope. The problem is the agenda density is extremely low in this deck. You're running 54 cards
At
and
least.
You're basically running 3-pointers and feedles.
Yep.
And you don't want to see feedles.
You do not want to see Feedles. They are only worth the 3 points, and they do damage and take your money.
Yep.
So,
They are pretty horrible.
like much of the IG deck.
Yep. So we're seeing tech startup here,
Mm-hmm.
which is allowing Asger to install an asset at the beginning of his turn.
Mm-hmm.
Also a fairly good card. And he is running the Mamba City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna see some alliance spam here.
For sure.
He's not. Yeah, he is running one heritage committee,
Mhm.
which I believe we are going to see clicked here
Yeah.
multiple times of that city hall.
Yeah, we can expect a lot of these kinds of stall shenanigans.
He's playing heritage committee right now from hand,
Mm-hmm.
but that heritage committee is definitely going to go back into R&D with some museum.
Yeah,
shenanigans.
the museum having one or two of those at rest is what makes this deck really tick.
Yep, for sure.
As well as hostile infrastructure, of course.
And he put an operation at the top, I think.
Yep.
So he's pretty safe, at least from.
Well, he's at 3 now
Yeah,
with the
you will be
medium.
seeing 4 cards for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see the click for the Mamba.
Yeah,
And he's clicking again for another Mamba.
yeah, and that will get annoying really fast.
Yeah. And he'll get 2 credits from it as well because he has
Mhm.
the turtle backs up.
Indeed.
At the moment, the trash cost is only increased by 1, I think.
Yeah,
There's 1 face down card in archives.
it's hard to see as he's keeping them in one straight pile.
Yeah.
But I can only recall him dumping one card in
I
there.
think so. There's 1 face down, but there is a shock there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Heritage Committee at the
Mhm.
top there.
Yeah. So it's a little bit hard to make out the credit count of Asger's deck. I think he's at, could that be 3
Yeah.
or 14? It's
I
really
think
hard
it's
to
a
tell.
lot more actually because he's gaining credits from those
Yeah.
turtle backs all the time.
It's really hard to make out. It could be 14 actually, but I'm definitely not sure.
So he saw a future perfect there. So
No,
they're
he's
going-
down to 5 now. That's definitely a 5. So he wasn't that rich. Could have been.
Oh, was that a future perfect with 0 credits? I think it was.
It could be.
And another shock, I suppose.
So.
Parasite gone.
Mm-hmm.
So he's at 5 credits right now.
Yeah.
They both are. No,
No,
4
he's
credits, yeah.
he's at 9.
Yeah, that was a dirty laundry
Alex.
and then a short gamble.
Yeah. So Alex is making a little bit more out of his.
He is going to run and trash both
can't.
of those city halls.
He needs
So
to.
that's a good choice, I think.
Yeah. No, he's still got those Mumbais
Yeah, he's paying
online,
1 for those 2.
and well, they are recurring credits, so they're fairly strong, but they can only be used for certain things.
Yeah, right now he has nothing to use them.
No,
But-
he can
but-
rest things with them, and that's it.
Yeah, he can rest the eyes on archives,
Yeah,
which I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Kamino.
it could definitely be. I think he's at 3 regular credits, and yeah,
So he's installing and resting the city hall for the
taking
Mamba
credit. It seems because he's now at 4.
Yeah, he's got the turtle back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the turtleback credit.
Yeah, and he's clicking city hall.
Yeah.
So this is what happens.
And he's getting
shuffling through your deck.
Yeah, and that's
There we
that's
go.
the museum.
Gain a credit for
It's
that.
still not very expensive to trash.
No, I'm guessing Alex is
I
gonna go
would-
after that.
Probably would have gotten a
Jackson.
Jackson
Yeah.
to overdraw. He's down 2 Jacksons already.
No, those are from the last game.
All right, they're still there.
Just
Okay.
Alex Jackson's from the
Yeah,
last
because
game.
I couldn't recall him using them.
Nope.
And that's another museum.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Making it a little bit more expensive to get rid of both, so that he can be fairly certain to trigger
Yeah.
at least one of them.
So Alex is on 2 cards. Do you think he's gonna keep running on our R&D? Keep digging? Snare would kill him.
Yeah,
Draw and run? What do you think?
and this is why he would have liked to have that wild
wild
side
side, yeah.
online, because you're constantly losing cards
Yeah. So
playing against
he's
IG.
drawing up and then running.
Yeah, he
the-
wants to finish it fast.
He
He
does.
gets to see 5 cards, and we can't really make out what that is. That was a.
Oh, it takes a fiddle.
It takes a fiddle.
So hoping for no snares. The deck only runs 1 snare,
Mm-hmm.
but he could find it here with 5 cards.
Of course.
With a bit
so
of luck.
we have. He's accessing. Is he accessing the full 5? I would be hesitant to do so. I'd have to say.
Yeah, I think most people do. The
I'd probably settle for 3 cards or something like that.
yeah,
Just because I'm a bit of a nervous person.
but this is.
Oh,
there-
he
that's
wants
the
to run
bioethics.
fast, though.
Yeah, he wants to win before.
And he's willing to take a chance for that, especially since he lost.
Oh,
And
that's
that was
it.
the snare.
Yeah,
and
that was the
and
snare.
that is why I would not run 5 cards here. But yeah. So
Yeah.
these matchups, they can be quick as well, especially if you have an active runner that is trying to do things, then it can really go downhill.
Yeah, I think
fast.
that's a valid strat against IG.
It definitely is. It's probably
Win
one
before
of the
anything else happens.
probably one of the best strategies.
Because when IG gets set up, there's really little you can do.
And you can't really keep up with that
No.
asset spam because it's too expensive.
Yeah, and
Even with
if you
just
just
the one.
trust the key assets, but they'll be coming back.
They will, and even though there was just the 1 extra cost to 2, he had 2 face
Yeah.
down cards, only 2 extra cost. That's fast eats up your recurring
It does,
wizard
yeah.
credits. That's more than half of them. So we have a sweep from Asger.
Yep.
He's leaving this round with 4 points.
We might be seeing him again
Hmm.
in the next round.
It would seem likely, or at least a decent shot that we see him later in the tournament. So we will be back in a short while with the next game. I think they're setting up for the next round.
Yeah,
We'll
should be.
take you to the test screen for a while.